What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be discussing 2025 recruiting intel / outlook, some big-time targets that the Buffs are looking at, some time plans they're going to visit, in my opinion on how I think Colorado can land some of these guys. But before we dive into any of that, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. We're on the way to 9,000 subs. I mean a lot if you can help us get this there. But before we dive into anything, you guys already know the drill. Play my damn theme music.
I flushed my kids down in the club.
I love it. It gets my day fired up. Happy Saturday to all of you this evening. Now, also keep in mind, turn the bell on because later on tonight, we're going to be dropping a video either tonight or tomorrow about the defensive line, thoughts and projections on how I think it's going to look for 2024. It's going to be exciting stuff. But first order of business, let's talk about one of the recruits that is looking to set a visit for Colorado, Elijah Melendez, I believe, recently committed to Miami. Keep that in mind, linebacker here. Now, he was at one point crystal ball to Colorado. Then Miami came in and swooped him up. Here's what I will say. After watching Mario Cristobal and the Hurricanes recruit over the past 2 years, here's what they typically do. They'll get started a little bit early like this. They'll go MIA for the entire year and close pretty strong, but also tend to lose a few at the end as well, too. So I like Elijah Melendez still possibly to end up at Colorado. Miami is getting early here. Him being from Florida plays a big factor into that, staying at 6'1", 210, top 120 player in the country. On three, he's got him ranked top 50 in the country. So this would be a massive get. Linebacker room, as we all know, Coach Prime has iterated this a few times about the emphasis on going out and getting more linebackers. Now, that's speaking more to 2024 and going into the portal. I understand, but that at least lets you know where the depth of this linebacker room is and how much it still needs a little bit of TLC. And I think Elijah helps into that a lot. So big one to watch out for. We'll definitely keep an eye on as he is set to visit over here the next couple of months. Next one here, boys and girls, is Mr. Betin. Love this one here. He actually just dropped his top 5 on his Twitter. I want to say yesterday or the day before, from Utah. Okay, so close to Colorado. You got to like that. Look at his top 5, though. Colorado, Florida, Georgia. We know what Georgia does with tight ends. They just got a transfer from Stanford because Georgia just pumps elite tight ends into the NFL. So you got to like Georgia in this. Utah, another one that pumps out great tight ends to the NFL and also close to home. Okay, so those, in my opinion, are going to be your 2 top targets or 2 people that you're competing with. Washington, I think with the transition, Jed Fish is doing a great job recruiting. I think he could probably pull in there late, but Colorado's got to be able to pull the edge over Washington, in my opinion, here. So I really think the biggest threat would be the Georgias and the Utahs of the world. 2025, he is also set to have an official visit at Colorado. Look, I like Colorado a lot here to get this done. I think he's like 6'5", 220 target, I believe. So very big tight end. 3-star right now. I believe that he's highly underrated. I could see him skyrocketing into the 4 and 5 stars. Tight ends kind of start off slow. There's only a few that start off up high. But right now, the fact that he's a 3-star this early on tells me that he will end up in a much higher category than what he's being looked at right now. Just sheer size alone, probably put some muscle and weight on in the offseason, go to a few camps, and this young man will just, like I said, the fact that Georgia's got an eye on him, there's good reason for that. So keep your eye on Mr. Betin. I like this one a lot. Now, next up, we have Mr. Bryce Davis. This 6'2" edge doesn't have an exact date set for Colorado, just like Betin does, but he is looking to make a visit. Right now, it looks like it's between Georgia and North Carolina, and I think Clemson. Those are his top 3 schools that he's looking at currently. So Colorado's going to have some work to do to be able to pull this off here, but the edge position, which obviously is a very important position. Again, they've done a great job, I believe, with the entire defensive line, including edge, but you always like for you to be able to pull a big-time edge rusher like Bryce Davis. This one's probably, in my opinion, out of the names we're going to talk about today, the coldest, I would say, on possibly, or where Colorado sits. But doesn't mean it's over. Just out of the ones that we're going to talk about, definitely the coldest as of now. Next up, and this is an interesting one. You've got Julian Lewis here, top-tier quarterback, just visited Georgia not too long ago, currently committed to USC. Now, let's slow this down for a minute. I believe all top-tier quarterbacks are always going to be highly intrigued about what to Colorado, given the fact of the talent they're able to pull in from wide receiver, given the fact of what Shador's been able to do. That has to be intriguing to you. You got to like what Coach Prime and how that offense runs. If you are a quarterback, how high up-tempo it is, and they didn't run the ball much. They want to run more, but did not run it much. And also, you got to think, okay, well, how are they going to recruit offensively? Jordan Seaton is that first domino to fall that, hey, we're taking this offensive line and trenches issue very seriously. So Julian Lewis, currently committed to USC. USC at one point 2 years ago, if you would have told me this, I wouldn't even brought his name up because what Lincoln Riley was doing with recruiting and quarterbacks was an absolute lock. Something's going on, and I don't know what it is. Nobody's really talking about it, but the fall of Caleb Williams this past year, losing Dante Moore to, not Dante Moore, Malachi Nelson, excuse me, to Boise State, you've lost your entire arsenal at quarterback. Now, they got this kid coming in who did a lot of great things in their bowl game that they're really excited about, but it doesn't fit the Lincoln Riley mold of quarterback. So if there's a school that you could rip Julian Lewis from right now, I like the chances of you ripping him from USC. He is set to visit as well on March 22nd, which is less than a month away. He'll be set to visit Colorado. Again, he's going to make his rounds. I would imagine, again, being a quarterback, he would like to get in as soon as possible. He is committed to USC, so I would imagine you would want to shut that down. Georgia, like I said, made a heavy push this past weekend, so that is somebody you have to consider too. They have been heavily involved with pulling out big-time quarterbacks, although they did lose Dylan Raiola last year right at the end. They have been doing a great job on pulling in big-time quarterbacks. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch to the end. A lot of the top 10 quarterbacks for that 2025 class are all wrapped up. They all have a home right now. Not saying they can't flip, but we're running out of room here. We're running out of spots to fill in for top-tier quarterbacks in 2025, and you would like to get yourself one. I know the portal is definitely a big emphasis for Coach Prime, but quarterbacks, you want to get them in early so you can develop them under your system versus plucking them from other places, although that's still an option. Let's not get crazy here. All right, next up, this is a big one. Michael Fushie, I believe, offensive tackle, 5-star offensive tackle. Everybody wants him. This young man is a hot commodity right now. He is set to visit on spring game, which is April 27th, which is very interesting. A couple things. One, that April 27th, right now, there isn't too many competition. Oregon is also playing on that day. The reason I say that is kids are having to choose where to go, right, where they should go visit during that. The fact that he's going to be at Colorado during that game and Oregon's playing, you got to love that. Jordan Seaton, I would imagine, is going to have a big ploy in this recruiting, given the fact that he was the previous big-time offensive lineman commit to go to Colorado. He is from Texas as well. We know about Coach Prime's connection to Texas. Going to be an interesting one to watch here. Again, the fact that Colorado has landed themselves an official visit, there's a lot of schools on this list that are interested in him that aren't getting a visit at the moment. Colorado has already locked in an official visit. You have to like that. You got to like where things are headed. So a name we'll definitely keep an eye on and see how it plays out. Again, a lot of schools are in it for Michael Fushie, I believe. I'm probably butchering it. Right now, Oklahoma, according to On3, leads the way, followed by Texas, Texas A&M. And Florida is at the bottom there, but Florida doesn't have an official visit yet. So, look, nobody knows where this young man's going yet, probably not even himself at the moment, but Oklahoma and Texas lead the way currently. In Texas, we know what they do. They are a recruiting machine right now. So, look, it's going to be interesting. What I will say, with all these young men that we have just went over, and I've talked about this before, I talked about it last year a little bit with the guys that, were putting Colorado's hat on the table. It felt like it was more of a publicity stunt, right? Like, hey, let's just put Colorado on our table. We know everyone's going to be looking. We know we're going to get the clicks. We're going to get the eyeballs on us. That was last year. It was the cool and fresh thing to do. I feel like this year, things have changed a little bit. We've evolved. We've gotten away from that. So if Colorado's hat is on the table, I believe there's a legitimate chance. And again, I'm not saying there wasn't one last year. It just felt like last year, all of a sudden, the Colorado hats were flooding on tables. And I believe that it was more of just because they wanted to be a part of the movement, what was Colorado and Coach Prime, which is still a movement. Just it's leveled itself out to where it's now more a little bit healthier, I believe. So if their kids got the Colorado on the table, you got to like it. You got to like that Colorado is getting their hat and their name thrown into the gauntlet there alongside these big-time schools like the Texas and Georgias, Bama's, Ohio State's. That's where you want to be. You want to be in the ring with them. You want to be competing with them. Eventually, those hats will start to fall. And I believe this year, we'll start to see some of those hats fall more than we did last year. All right? So something, again, I don't think it's going to be anything explosive. We obviously know that the tactic here going after the portal, Coach Prime has been adamant about that. He even said that recently, like that's going to be our focus is continue to get guys in their sophomore year. I believe that he will. It's going to be fun to watch the big top-tier targets. I think top-tier 5-star offensive tackles are going to be high-end targets. I think quarterbacks, especially with Shedeur leaving, are going to be targets. And then maybe a big-time cornerback here or there will be a factor too. Guys that can come in and make an impact from day one is, I think, where this focus is going to be. And then obviously continue to build the rest through the transfer portal. So will be interesting. Let me know down in the comments below. Out of these names that we went over today, Rate them. Who do you want to see come first to Colorado? Who would you like? If you could pick one of these guys, who would you like to come to Colorado out of all of them? And who do you believe will make the biggest impact if they were to commit? Be sure to smash the like button. Subscribe. You know the drill. Turn the bell on. Great content on the way out. Look, we're almost through the dry season, all right? We are almost through this like weird area where nothing's happening. We're going to have some spring practice coming up here in March. We're going to have so much to talk about. You don't want to miss it. We're going to give your thoughts and opinions and all that jazz, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace!